That story was a lot of fun, and in fact the fun continues now. Let's stay with the craft gin story, and Rachel Smith, the name behind another award-winning brand, Smith's Gin, joins us in studio. Rachel, thanks so much for coming in.
Hi, Michelle.
So my mother's already messaged me and said, why are you drinking on national TV? And I'm going to do the same in just a moment. But let's start with the Smith's Gin story. You know, as that package was describing, saturated almost with craft gin brands is South Africa, and the world as well, as this craft gin industry just explodes around the globe. How do you, as your brand, Smith's Gin, set yourself apart, which you've done already?
The important thing for me in developing this brand and kind of anything that I did was to ensure that the product was made of quality. And I used the expertise of industry experts, Peter Goffwood, a chef, Harry Melk from the Cape Wine Academy, as well as some of my bartending and mixologists like Chantal Horn, to help me really fine-tune and make sure that the liquid itself, at its core, without packaging and marketing, is amazing.
So really experts in flavour working with you to develop your flavours.
Yeah, exactly. And to make sure that from any area of use in the hospitality industry, a chef, a mixologist and a wine producer is saying, this is great.
So you've already, incredibly, you know, you've been a year on the market, you've already won awards. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was quite a fun achievement and a recognition of what I set out to create a quality gin. And this for me was kind of the tick point and the benchmark to carry on with this. I entered all three into the SA Craft Gin Awards. There were about 110 individual entries. And of all of those, all three of my gins actually won awards.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Shall we get down to the tasting part?
We
can.
can.
So what's quite interesting about what you've done here is that even though the brand we spoke to just in that insert a moment ago, the advice from that particular brand was, you know, keep it simple. Indian tonics most likely is the best way to go for Flowstone gin. But for you, you've brought us 3 different mixes with your 3 different gins.
Yeah. I love the versatility of gin, and I love exploring and experimenting with that. And yes, when I developed it, I tried with every type of Indian tonic, from Schweppes to Pick and Pay, No Name, and Fitch and Leeds, to make sure at the core a G&T will work with the gins. But beyond that, these gins are so amazing and go so well with any other variant and mix that individuals have, because not everyone is compartmentalized and they have their own sense. I mean, I've got friends who actually prefer gin and soda just to take the sugar out of it, and there's no reason to say no to that.
Yeah. And you've also stuck to, shall we start with the elderflower gin, and this is the one that's mixed with the Indian tonic, right?
Yes.
And your advice is the same when it comes to garnishes, in that don't over garnish, don't put a fruit salad in your gins.
Yeah, look, I think maybe just to keep it classy when you just drink it as well. You don't want that coming into your face, but you kind of want to not deviate away from the liquid that you're having.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always about just adding 1 or 2 touches to elevate something in the gin that you like, and just keep it simple.
So even though one brand has told us no lemon, you've gone for lemon in your citrus, and I suppose just to complement the
exactly
citrus
that. Exactly
gin.
that. I personally love lemon and sour things. When I first developed the citrus, it was going to be very much more like a limoncello version of a gin, and then, like I said, my friends in the industry helped me to reel it in and make it more versatile.
And this one is not a tonic mixer, it's actually it's a mojito flavoured mixer?
Yes, it's Schweppes has got 2 new mixes that have veered away kind of from their tonics and normals. This is the mojito, which is a premix of mint and lime.
That's very interesting, actually. It's lovely.
Yeah. So instead, look, I mean, I think we are all kind of very experimental. We want to have a lot of garnish in it, but not all of us can get fresh mint, and limes are really expensive. But you can still have that effect and that taste and the deliciousness with the alternatives that are offered out there.
So this is the last gin. Let me just pull this a bit closer. So the last gin is your spiced gin, and the tonic that you're using with that one is rather controversial in my book anyway, the blueberry and cardamom. I'm going to give it a try anyway. And what's interesting about how you've chosen to garnish this one is actually with a bit of rosemary.
Yeah, the thing is with spice, it's very difficult to break away from it because there are so many ingredients already in the gin, and that was finely balanced. Adding like more and bigger, bolder flavors like the spice variety or the herbs will very much make an impact on the nose and the flavor when you sip it.
And the thing about the spice gin is that the rosemary complements the flavors, and then also the cardamom, I suppose, in the tonic water would do the same thing. Yeah. Any other advice for people on, how to garnish something like a spice gin? Would you put a stick of cinnamon in there, some star anise?
You can. What I quite like doing as well is a crack of black pepper, because we have black pepper in there. And if it's already spicy, it's kind of like seasoning, adding salt and pepper.
I think you may have won me over with the blueberry and cardamom tonic. It's delicious, actually.
Thanks.
So, advice for people who are new to the craft gin market, who are looking to try something new, for a night out on the town. Where do you start? The spiced one, I get the feeling, is quite a bold flavour.
Yes.
Would the elderflower one, would that be your entry into craft gin, perhaps?
Not necessarily. For me, it's the citrus. Citrus has got a lot of brands globally that have a citrus base, and that's kind of what people have been brought up to know.
Yeah.
So to start to experiment and to have a safe bet, I would go for the citrus. And then what I've done is, by having all three, you can go to elderflower, which is more light and delicate and a sweeter tone. Or if you're looking for something to sip on or bolder and really punched with flavour, then you can go for the spice.
Rachel Smith from Smith's Gin, thanks very much for coming into studio. I'm going to have a sip of water in the meantime after all that lovely gin. And I'll be back with you at the top of the hour with all of your top stories. Up next, though, is Taking Stock.